Hey guys, welcome back. I wanted to do a really quick, I hate that little wheelie thing, video that was going to be a bit of a narrative on this video that I found that I liked. One of my favorite ladies, people in the anti-narc community is this little shaman sister healing or whatever. She's really, really good. Again, metaphysically, we don't have the same views, but she did a really, a little too pagan in name for me. But beyond that, she has some of the best work I have, honestly, sorry about my nose, seen hands down in the anti-narc community. She's very cool. She's not vindictive like a lot of my old videos where I'm just lashing out. She's actually very, very well educated and formulaic and explains a lot very, very well. And I think she's dead on. She even did one on the Bible and narcissism, which I actually think she was right on about a lot of things. I do believe that narcissism is the Jezebel spirit. As far as how childhood trauma and abuse and neglect plays into this, I don't know. But anyway, I wanted to do a little bit of just a small narrative on one of the videos she did called How the Narcissist Really Sees You. Now, they will tell you left and right that they are your friend and that they are your husband and that they are your wife and that they are your this. The whole time they're raging and seething inside you, wanting to destroy you. So that's why their words never and their actions never match. You're my friend, but you're very stupid and uneducated. You must understand how freaking worthless and stupid you are, but you are my good friend. What happened there? Well, what's being said and what's actually being practiced are different. Please don't hurt me. That's hurt. You ask him, please don't hurt me. Don't say those negative things to me. The only thing I ever did was want to love you and care about you, but that makes them mad. How dare you? How dare you? And they're very, very sensitive. So I'm kind of beyond the anger thing. I mean, I'm beyond that. There's just no point in going back and rehashing that. Yes, the videos of ramping and raving were fun, but I need to grow up sometime, and now's the time to grow up. And if you're still in that phase, then by all means, make a bunch of ranting and raving videos, and I'll support you 100%. But you also notice that narcs are very, very hypersensitive about little things. Remember, according to Little Shaman Healing, what she says, and I think she's right, is that they're so void of an actual personality. That's why they can be your best friend one day, they say. Of course, they've mistreated you the whole time. And then one day later, they hate your guts and want nothing to do with you. Don't contact me again or I'll call the authorities. Now, how is that even possible for a person to, you're my best friend, call me tomorrow, and then you call them tomorrow. If you call me again, I'll call the authorities, you inferior being. Because they're not a real person. Okay, these are two different people that are actually, one claims to like you while they insult you. The other claims to hate you, want your guts and want nothing to do with you. One wants you to die. The other one, doesn't care what you do. There's different people. Their personality is not solidified. Like I said in my other video, they're Frankensteins. They're partial, fragmented, split. We see this in celebrities in Hollywood all the time where they start splitting, right? And they go off their script and go nuts. Watch. I'll post the video on that. So they're dangerous. You got to stay away from them because they're so inconsistent. Come over and be my friend. And then the next day they're like, I want to stab you with a knife. What happened? Okay, you can't, there's nothing you can do. Just stay away from it. But I wanted to talk a little bit about this, how they're always raging and seething with anger towards you, often because maybe they want to be you, or maybe you have something they don't, or remember they're fake for one thing, and what they're trying to do is create fake personalities and convince themselves that they're somebody that they're not. It's not even so much that she says about convincing the other person. Let me make one up. I'm a world champion boxer, okay? Now, I know how to throw punches. I was a Golden Gloves boxer back in my younger days. My students always laugh. I showed them some videos and pictures of when I was young and I was doing karate and riding jet skis and jumping out of airplanes and doing all this wild stuff. And, because they always think that we're all boring. You should have seen every jaw in the room drop like, oh my gosh, he does all this. It was fun. It was a way to inspire them to want to work harder and gain more in life. Get a good education, work really hard, and just do the best they can for themselves. So we're trying to inspire. Sometimes as educators we got to chew them out a little bit and give them that extra push, and then you always go back and follow it and tell them how much you care about their education. One thing I've noticed is they do respect that. So even if you have to do some major butt chewing, if you come back and follow it with you understand why I said what I said, what I do, you'll notice that you will gain some serious respect. And anyway, so it was funny because they were laughing. They were like, okay, this guy jumps out of airplanes. He was a martial artist. He was a boxer. He was a fighter. He did all this cool stuff. He plays all these instruments. Writes all this music. He can rap. And so it's pretty cool. A lot of times people will hate you for that. I'm not liked. People don't like me like that. You like you, I must destroy you. You'll find this a lot with supervisors sometimes where you come in, or sports teams. I found it with sports teams. I'm not the best player on the team. You're a better player than I am, so I'm going to break your leg and he's a horrible person. So me. Insecurities, weakness. Was the Roman statesman Seneca and writer that said that all cruelty springs from weakness. That's exactly the case. That's why people bully those who are weaker. The same people that would kick a kitten would never go to the zoo and slap a tiger. The same guy that would bully a little kid would never go over and bully a United States Marine that just got out of boot camp or was trained in combat training. They just don't do it. The narcissistic bully is a frail coward, and that's why they usually find targets they find are easy, kind, and then they target them and want to destroy them and hurt them because they will never measure up to the level of hero. They'll never be able to. These aren't the champions in life. They're not. They're actually the opposite. They're the losers in life, and that's why. And they know that. And part of it's their own choice. Part of the reason they lose is because they're self-destructive. Rather than treating people good, they're envious and jealous and vindictive and mean. And and because of that, they never have these good social skills where they can relate to other people. And so they don't really fit in. Why would they? I mean, nobody wants to be around somebody who treats them like that. But they think that they're special, unique, and entitled to hurt these lesser, inferior ingrates, where they're these supreme, godlike creatures amongst these inferior mortals. And that mindset is what makes them so dysfunctional. And that's why they have to hide that behind, I'm a good person. I kick the cat, but I'm a good person. I bully my wife, but I'm a good person. I'm mean, but I'm a good person. But the thing is, they know that they're such evil, ugly slime that the person they have to convince that they are wonderfully a good person, that they are talented and skilled and highly educated and super powerful, it's themselves. It's not even so much that they're trying to convince you, it's that they're trying to convince themselves. And so the people they keep around are only people that they can dupe into believing that so that they can convince themselves of the reality. So I know I'm a loser. I know I'm not number one, I'm confident enough to be able to talk about my weaknesses. There's things I'm very, very good at. There's things that, quite frankly, I suck at. And I think that's the way with all of us. I'm sorry about my eyes. It's just early. Most normal people are like that. It's not our frail. We don't have a frail ego. So if I say I'm good at throwing boxing punches, but I can't throw a football, my football throws are embarrassing. I have got half the football team, and the coach is teaching me how to throw. I don't know how to throw a football worth crap. I'm a little bit better with the basketball. I made a really cool shot the other day, and everybody thought that was funny. By the blessing of God, one of a good friend of mine. He's a great guy, great educator. All right, so we're outside. I want to go to make a basket. One of those mini basketball things. I go to throw it. Freaking football coach, math teacher comes behind me, takes the ball right out of my hand. Sucker. Anyway, everybody laughs, and it's funny. We're having fun. Now, the narcissist would get snarled. How dare you? But I'm not that way because I'm confident. I'm like, you jerk. I see the ball, and something came over me. It was the power of God. I jumped while that ball still was in the air, grabbed it with my left hand, switched it over to my right mid-air, threw it, and swished that sucker, and the crowd went crazy. The kids never saw that. They're like, dude, I didn't know you had that in you. And neither did I. It was funny, and we all laughed. I didn't have that hypersensitive, I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses. Narcissists can't handle this. They must always be these superior beings. And so they're always going to make up these lies about all these great things they can do and adventures they've had and knowledge they have. None of it's true, but it's themselves they have to convince. So if you become a challenge to them, if you have healthy boundaries, they don't like healthy boundaries. If you're like, I must hurt you, and they want to hurt you, and then you're like, please don't hurt me. No, you just say, hey, quit hurting me like that. Don't be surprised when that relationship ends because they don't want to be around people with healthy boundaries. They want around people that they can violate. That way they can abuse them down, manage them down into believing all their bullcrap stories, or at least make them think that they can believe their bullcrap stories so they can convince themselves of the truth that they themselves have fabricated and intuitively know it. So anyway, but they hate you. You are an object. You're a tool. And I'll explain why. Do you hate a tool? She's going to explain it in this video, and I'm going to go through it a little bit with her. Okay, and I'm hoping you guys can hear this all okay, so I'm going to try to get my volume up here. I get us to 100%. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and play this, and I'll go by with a few of my opinions on what she says little by little. So, sorry about that. I'm going to go ahead and play.
Hey everybody, it's Shaman Sister Sin, and you're listening to the Meditations and More podcast brought to you by Earth Mama's Apothecary and LittleShaman.org. That's me, Little
good.
Shaman.
Today I'm going to talk to you
about how pathologically narcissistic people truly see others. It can be confusing because often what you're told is completely different from how you are actually treated by this person.
You're my friend, that's what I'm trying to destroy your life.
Pathologically narcissistic people are unable to distinguish the self from external objects.
This is my
To
best
summarize, this means that the people around them are seen as basically parts of themselves.
Okay, sorry about that. This remote is my best friend. I would so make love to this remote. It's my best friend. It is me and I am it. I've seen it with cars, instruments, tools, same concept. Let's roll.
Emotionally. This is something we see in very young children. Babies experience their parents as not separate from the self. Parents are not only experienced as mirrors, but as suppliers of worth, validation, and all things related to the child's internal self.
So with the narcissist, it's all about what they want and what they need. And you give them what they need, or they'll cry, get angry, punish you, and make you pay the price. This is not healthy. In children, we expect it. In adults, it's just cake.
A child does not understand or realize that a parent is an individual with their own needs or desires or problems or anything else. They understand the parent's existence to be inextricably related to and perhaps justified by their own existence. The child can only experience or understand the parent's existence through themselves. This person exists because they take care of me.
So basically that the narcissist is a sense of solace. They see themselves as the only reality, the only center of the universe, the only important thing, and everything else is like an extension of themselves, meant to serve them and only and for them and for no other reason. And maybe that's why when you get upset, they get angry, because you're not supposed to get upset. You're supposed to, whatever torment they give out to you, you're supposed to just take it and enjoy it and thank them for hurting you. That's why earlier I made a video, which I take down, but I'll do a variant later, where it said narcissists get angry and expect you to thank them for hurting you, because you should be so, it's crazy. These guys are caked.
It's not a conscious idea, it's just the way that their mind understands things because it's undeveloped.
Mind is caked.
Through normal development, the child eventually separates from the parent and asserts their own identity, becoming a cohesive individual who has a stable sense of self.
Normal people
For
like
whatever
us.
reason, this does not seem to happen with pathologically narcissistic people.
That's why they have
it
that
could
dead
be
look.
because they're not given the support and care that they need and are therefore unable to resolve things within themselves as children so that they can progress developmentally. It could be that they are genetically predisposed to this kind of thing. It could be that they are simply born needing more. It could be a combination of all those things.
Basically, this is why you'll find with narcissists, their relationships, be it their friendships, not that they have any, or marriages, well, they're all farces, because they always see the other person as an object who lives only to serve them and keep them happy and give them what they need, with no regard for the other one. But it's like they're a babysitter. The narcissist always needs a caretaker, a babysitter, someone to affirm their importance, someone to provide for their needs. When you marry a narcissist or you befriend a narcissist, be prepared to do some heavy babysitting, and it's tiring. It wears you out, okay? And they don't think they need to be responsible. In my past, I've known narcissists who tend not to clean up after themselves. I mean, sometimes I get sloppy with my house, that's just because I'm tired. But they don't feel that they should have to pick up, because a lot of times, you should do it for them because they're so important. I've seen narcissists get sloppy, lazy, expect the other person to go to work and provide for them, while they just sat there in their fantasy world spacing out. And more than one person. I mean, I can name a list. So be prepared to babysit if you're going to hook up with one of these whack scores.
We do know that in most cases there is abuse or emotional neglect in the history of narcissistic people.
Could be, but it doesn't excuse their behavior.
For whatever reason, then, the step in development that is required for them to understand other people as separate individuals does not seem to take place in pathologically narcissistic people.
Which is why they're going to be such self-centered buttholes. And they'll never change. Never change. They know they shouldn't do it. So they know right from wrong, but that's why they cover it up. I am a wonderful person. I'm so compassionate. But you'll notice behind closed doors, they're anything but.
Even as adults, they seem to be stuck in this infantile understanding of other people.
You will give me
This
what I
type
want.
of arrested development often creates very serious problems with the way that those who are pathologically narcissistic relate to other people.
You must be
If your only understanding of the existence of other people is predicated on what they're doing for you, you're going to believe that you and you alone are important here. Not just the brightest star, but the only star.
Human beings, to the narcissist, are like this glass of water. The outside is the body, and the water is the soul. they attach. They drink all the water. And they throw the container away. And they don't think anything of it. This is what they do to other human beings. And they believe that other human beings should be happy about that. They don't understand why the other human being would be angry. The other human being, they're not human because they're not fully developed human. They always study their brains is not fully developed. They're totally miswired. A lot of spark plugs misfiring up there. And they say that area of the brain that lacks empathy or that has empathy is basically missing. So is the screwed up brain give rise to their wicked personality, or is it that they've steered their personality so wicked that it's actually through a process of neuroplasticity actually altered the brain? I have a tendency to think it's the latter. And God gave them over to reprobate minds. Well, that being Exhibit A. Continue.
It results in a mindset that reflects the self as the only thing that matters.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about if you dealt with them.
They seem to regard people as tools rather than as feeling individuals.
That's why you're disposable.
The only way other people are understood or experienced is as far as what they can do for the narcissistic
It's all about
person.
what you do for them. They
They're
care nothing
expected
about
to
you.
exist for the narcissist, care for and cater to the narcissist, and to stick to the script at all times.
That is why, no matter how much money or time you spend on them, you'll never get a thank you. They'll never appreciate you. They'll get angry if you don't do it enough. And then if you ask for, something in return, they'll get angry or they'll be hesitant to do it. Or they'll get, and see it as like can't win. That's why Sam Votman says, the only way to truly deal with a narcissist is to abandon him. He cannot have relationships. He cannot have friendships. His nearest and dearest are complete trash to him. They are nothing. Inferior ingrates. Do not understand his brilliant mind. Yet he himself does not realize he's the cause of his own misfortunes. It's my best Votman imitation.
Remember, the act that they're putting on isn't for other people, it's for them. Other people are simply the supporting actors to their starring role. As with any tool.
That's what I was saying. They're there to convince themselves of their own BS stories. Your job is to affirm that story, those fantasies, those big tales. If they don't, you are to be cut, cast away, and smeared. The reason they smear you and say all these bullcrap things about you back, like what a horrible person you are and how you robbed a bank and how you blah, 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 is to discredit you because they don't want their new suckers, their new monkeys, their new supply being able to talk to the old supply, because if the new monkey could talk to the old supply, they'd realize this guy is a total fake. And that lesson is coming. There's no doubt. It does with everybody. And you know what? Fortunately, I was never manipulated as a flying monkey against somebody else, which is good. Because then I don't feel like a moron. I don't feel like a sucker. But the person that narcissist is using against another person, when they take care of that, take that problem out, and get a new tool supply, that person's going to feel like a real dumbass. Good stuff.
Use dictates value. People who are very useful will often be treated as more valuable. Those who give the narcissist admiration or positive means of regulating their self-worth will often be put on a pedestal or even pandered to because the narcissist wants to keep that line open. These are often people who don't know the narcissistic person very well. They don't see them except in a certain light or in a certain circumstance, and they cannot really expose who the narcissist really is. People who question the narcissistic person, challenge them, or don't otherwise reflect the false positive image narcissists insist that everyone around them buy into may be devalued and discarded because they represent a threat to the narcissistic person's denial. These people's use is limited because they are defective in the narcissist's estimation. They are tools which don't work the way they are supposed to work. This situation can create...
Defective? Nah. That assumes utility. Intellectually superior, better liked, more talented, more skilled. Everybody loves me. To answer your question, yes, I am that cool and I'm here all week. Before you think I'm that arrogant, I'm really not. I'm playing that up, being silly. Praise be to Jesus Christ, Son of God and Son of Man. No man goes to the Father but by him. And all that I do for his honor, for his glory. And if you expect me to apologize, go to a different channel. You got the wrong guy. I don't like church monkeys either.
Frustration in pathologically narcissistic people, and that frustration is likely very real. It's the same as the frustration anyone would feel when something they own doesn't work correctly. Again, you are expected to stick to the script and exist only for them. Deviations from this generally cause enormous anger and frustration within the narcissistic person. They don't understand that their expectations are unreasonable, and they likely wouldn't care if they did know. They need their needs fulfilled, and it's up to the people who claim they care about the narcissist to take care of this, exactly the same way children look to their parents. It's not acceptable for you to ever question or contradict this. It's not acceptable for you to have needs of your own, and it is not acceptable for you to ask them for anything. There is no gray area here. To the narcissist, you exist to fulfill their needs, and that's all. They understand other people to be responsible for their emotions and their well-being, the same way that children understand this. In a way, we could say that the narcissist recreates the parent and child relationship over and over again in their life, even if the narcissist is themselves the parent and the victim is their child. They are unable to take care of their own needs, and they insist that other people do this for them.
By the way,
when other people fail them, which they always will, because it's not possible to meet these expectations.
Because the narcissist expects you to be perfect because they see themselves as perfect, and you will screw up, and then you'll be punished royally for failing up to living up to some expectation that they have that is impossible. Like, in order to be my friend, you must have 6 PhDs in science. But yet, then I myself don't even have a single degree in anything. Double standard, but it's also, even if it weren't a double standard, it would be impossible to fill. So it can't be done. It's like trying to meet a married bachelor and draw a square circle. Or, as I say in my other videos, determine the shape of the color purple, or the weight of tomorrow, or how, number 7 smells, or illogical requests. It cannot be done. By the way, one cannot patent or trademark silly faces. Whoops.
The narcissistic person flies into a rage. They are angry, they are hurt, they're betrayed, they're let down.
Never.
They want revenge. They want what they believe
you must
they're
be
entitled
punished.
to. What you owe
You
them.
owe me. Give me my fee.
They have no
Give
way
me my
to
extra.
do or get any of the things they need
Silly
themselves,
God on a
so all
silly
they can do
cross.
is act out their frustration like a child having a tantrum.
I'm going to hurt you.
Even those who don't rage outwardly will punish the other person for their failure. There may be sulking, silent treatment, there may be disappearing or discarding, there may be emotional manipulations and guilt used, there could be a crisis.
I've seen that one so many times. The funniest one to me is the silent treatment. Hey, how are you doing? Oh, Jesus, dude, seriously? I mean, that's mature. But again, back to the wounded child.
That results in suicide outwardly. They also expect narcissistic people are controlled by their emotions and their needs, even if they don't always express them outwardly. They also expect other people to be controlled by a crisis that results in suicidal threats, pathologically act out their frustration like a child having a tantrum. Even those who don't rage outwardly will punish the other person for their failure. There may be sulking, silent treatment, there may be disappearing or discarding, there may be emotional manipulations and guilt used, there could be a crisis that results...
I'm doing the one where they disappear and then don't return your phone calls. I'm concerned about you. You left the house and never came back. Call me. Even if we had a falling out, I want to make sure you're okay because I still care about you and you're my brother. Inferior being. Okay. Inferior being. I mean, really? This is great. Narcissists are kind of humorous when you put it in perspective.
In suicidal threats, pathologically narcissistic people are controlled by their emotions and their needs, even if they don't always express them outwardly. They also expect other people to be controlled by their emotions as well, and when people do not treat a narcissist's feelings with the importance that the narcissist believes they deserve, there's going to be a problem. Their emotions not only control them, they're supposed to control you too. The truth is that...
Now, my boss is super awesome. I mean, he came by the other day and told me he thought I was just cool. And he's right. And I told him, not half as cool as you are, sir. Because we were teasing one of these little gals at school. And because you were a hard worker, really good kid. We had a lot of fun. We were kind of picking on her. Just, keep it fun around the school. Keep it fun there because, kids have a place they should they should enjoy being there. Even though, testing gets old. But, we were talking each other up a little bit, motivating the campus. And that was pretty cool. But I've worked throughout history. Try having a manager or a boss, that is a bully and a narcissist. Think about it. You're literally working for an angry, spoiled 4-year-old, and they're inconsistent. First of all, they'll tell you to do one thing, you do it, and they contradict themselves and then deny that they said it the first time. What the hell just happened? and then they'll punish you and write you up and threaten you, and they get lawsuits a lot of times on their place of employment because, remember, it's like children are reckless in their behavior and they don't have the social intelligence, emotional intelligence, and the emotional maturity to accept the responsibility they're given. But remember, the narcissists hide themselves well, so they get on the inside and just kind of destroy things. And, getting one of these narcs in the workplace is a really bad deal for everybody. Not only the people under them, but the people above them, too, because they'll kiss up to the people above them. The whole time they'll be generating lawsuits on the company because of their reckless behavior. Narcissists are reckless because, as you said, they're angry. Or she said, there's angry children. They're spoiled temper tantrums. So they don't get what they want. They're going to punish you and make you pay the price. But the problem is that creates all sorts of... They'll break laws. They'll lie. They'll fudge paperwork. And when that happens, it gets litigation in the area of employment and criminal charges. And then everybody wonders what happened. Well, you hired a 2-year-old. Angry 2-year-old at that.
Regardless of what they say, actions speak louder than words. Pathologically narcissistic people will tell you who they really are. The question is, will you hear them before it's too late? Well, this clears a few things up for you. As always, I look forward to your comments, questions, and suggestions.
It did. And this lady's really good. I do suggest her channel. She's good, and I'll get a few more, and I did put a plug for the other one. But anyway, there's my video for today. I think I'm going to stay out here for a while, and I'll do more God and science videos. And oh, by the way, yeah, I like the shirt Tom and Jerry. I always kind of thought about this. I used to love this show, and I still do. But notice he's winking one eye. I'm wondering if that's, of course, a plug for the... I wonder if this was created to desensitize people to violence. I mean, I know it's slapstick comedy, and I like it. I mean, honestly, I totally get slapstick comedy. It's meant to be funny, not meant to be taken serious. But we understand the MK2 Ultra program of the CIA has been kind of desensitizing us to violence from the beginning. So I'm always wondering if... I know it seems innocent and funny, and maybe it is. Maybe it is. But I've seen plugs in there with the one eye and the all-seeing eye on the back. And as much as we laugh at this show, I'm wondering if it actually is started out to kind of desensitize us to violence in a comedy way and then start bringing it in. I don't know. That's just speculation. Ultimately, I did love the show Tom and Jerry, and I found this at Walmart. I was up in Corpus Christi going to a soccer game, and there's this Walmart off of Crosstown Expressway. It's about all these theaters and stuff. And so we were hanging in Corpus and went out to IHOP and had a good time there. And that was where we had the... picked up the shirt. I wanted to get some new shirts, but I just thought this one was cool. It's kind of funny. I went to the soccer game, and everybody was quiet, and I walked by a group of the... basically, all of a sudden, the cheerleaders start cracking up, and I can't look. I turn around and look, and they're all laughing at my shirt. I think they like the Tom and Jerry shirt. I don't know why. I just thought it was cool. $7, not a bad deal. But anyway, oh yeah, by the way, that's a good thing. See, notice how the cat is pretending to be friends with the mouse, but he's got the club behind his back, and the mouse looks like he's up to something. That's what narcissists do. Pretending to be your friend, but ultimately I have an evil motive. Perfect example. All right, have fun. Later, guys.